So today we're going to take a look at my Mojave, 8S Mojave, to find out, well, I know what happened. It chewed up pinion gear. We're going to take a look at the spur gear versus the pinion. I think this center differential gear is messed up and it's chewing up my pinion gears. So this is the second pinion gear I put in there. Now I was out bashing it and I normally this hole to stop chewing up these gears, because when you're out in the sand will get in here and it'll sandblast this spur gear and ruin it, and then you chew up your pinion gear. This will act like a scoop up the sand, and it'll try to crush it in between the pinion. So I normally tape these things up. I didn't the last time I was out. But we're going to pull that apart. We're going to see what's going on in there, why I keep eating up pinion gears, because this is the second or third pinion gear that got eaten up in this 8S. So I got to get it fixed so that I can get it back out there. So we're going to do that now. We're going to video what I normally do. And then I think I had an issue with these fans. So I'm going to take a look at these fans too, because I don't think they were working the last time I was out. But we're going to have to pop off this side is going to be the first thing I'm going to do. This is all a part of bashing, guys. When you're out bashing, running in the sand, desert, that kind of stuff, you're gonna ruin parts, gears, that kind of stuff. So the plan is to make it last as long as possible. And this spur gear, or this pinion gear, didn't last one bash session from the time I replaced it. So I'm gonna pop it apart, see what's going on. This one I believe has the Creighton 8S motor in it with the Mamba Monster X 8S. So I miss a bolt? Yeah, I did. I missed one. So this one is kind of cleaned up. I did clean it up, I think, the last time out. But yep, Mamba Monster X 8S. And then my motor. So this one, because of this has got a big motor in it, I'm going to have to pull out the motor mount to get this one out. The way this motor mount's designed, because it's a big block motor mount. And last time I just took the gear off and changed that, which I don't have to do this. So now we're going to pull these pins. We're going to slide this brace off. I'm going to slide off this one pin and flip the brace, see what's going on. Hopefully I can get it past this mount. When building the RC, you got to watch all this stuff when you're mounting ESCs and that kind of stuff, because you got to be able to get to most of this stuff. Gotta get this front wheel off. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. I got these wheels cranked on here because this wheel, the one that has the yellow wheel on it, keeps coming off. So I have my original wheel back on it. Now this will allow me to flip up this brace. And then that'll allow me to pull out the whole motor assembly. Stick this wheel back on temporarily, just so it'll lay on its side without falling over. If you guys don't have yourself a Mojave, definitely the RC to have. So, I don't know if this is going to take this off. These are MIP bits. Just like any of the other ones, 5 bolts. And there went my drive shaft. I should have held it on the other side, but I did it. I just let it fall, and I saw one of the drive shafts take off. Right, got the drive shaft. Take out my other drive shaft. That's funny, the front drive shaft is longer than the rear, and you can see the front is having a flex issue where it's hitting the brace. It's funny, it's backwards from the that's a lot of play in that front diff. That's a lot of play back there too. They seem even. So the longer one goes in the front on this one. So we're done with this. Now we're going to work on this. Let's see what's going on here. So I'm going to bring you guys in a little closer. We'll be right back. All right, a little closer. You can see the motor mount I have in here for this motor. You can see how eaten up the gear is. Look at the gap between these gears right now. So there's my issue. It ate up this pinion gear, and you can see the diff has been leaking. So I'm going to want to check this diff while it's out. So first things first, let's get this gear off. This is a hot racing gear as well. I'm going to pull the grub screw completely out because that gear's no good, but I'll keep the grub screw. Now I use this, my scraper, to pry it off because of Loctite that gets in there. Look how eaten up that gear is. Now we're going to pop this diff off. See what we're working with here. You can see the diff where it's wet. Check these bolts, see if they're loose. Oh yeah, it's just a little loose. All of them. Yep. So it's leaking out of that seal a little bit. So we're gonna pop this off and top this back off. I might just put 20 million in the center diff. But before I do that, I want to check my mesh and see if the mesh is where I'm having the issue. Okay. See how many teeth this was. I can't remember. So this is a 27 tooth is what I had in here. Let me see if I have another 27 or what we're going to stick in there. It was running a little hot. Well, I have a 29. That's a 29 hot racing gear, but that's not going to work. 8 millimeter. We need 5 millimeter, which I have a 25, so I'm going to drop it down to a 25. But in order to go to 25, I got to bring it in a little. I might want to flip this gear around this time. If I can. This is the one right here. This is the hardest part about these motor mounts. Because the gear's in the way. Getting the mesh perfect. Like trial and error. Oh, it moved. Right there. Not a big fan of these motor mounts. I have one on Limit Do as well. Takes the same mount. But very hard to adjust pinions. That's why last time I put the same pinion in there. I think that's good. Should hold right there. We're going to pop this out, take a look inside, see how the diff looks. See how the diff fluid looks. I bet you it's really low. So it's pretty much just grease on the inside. So I'm going to find some fluid. We're going to get that filled up. All right, I got some 1 million here. We're going to throw some 1 million in this thing. Kind of like black grease is what they got in there. Okay, we're going to let that settle down. Probably going to take a little bit. I'm going to probably have to heat it, and we'll be right back. All right. So I got this deal probably way too topped off, but we're going to smash it in there anyway, because I like them over full, because then they lock up a little better, especially when I should have put 1 mil, or I mean 20 mil instead of 1 mil. That's what I should have put in here, but I didn't. I put 1 mil. I'm feeling that'll get rid of at least having the fluid in here now. We'll get rid of some of the ballooning in the front and get it to hook up a little better. But what I'm doing now is trying to get 2 bolts in. Letting it settle down slowly. And you can see the one hole where fluid's coming out because I got too much in it. Just didn't want a bunch of guys saying, "You got too much fluid in it." I know. Did it on purpose. Now, before I tighten the other 2, what I like to do is spin it. Make sure that that gear went in right. Because I don't want this thing leaking out everywhere. Now I'm going to wipe off the excess that's all around. You can see all the excess that came out. Basically pushed out all that nasty grease that was in there and kept my new silicone in there. Now I'm going to tighten it by hand and settle this whole thing down. See how loose that is? This gives me feeling. Look how loose that one is. Got this stuff everywhere. Check my bearings. this thing fits in here right. Look at the top of that. All the grease, everything that's flinging. And that dirt's getting stuck to it. It's making a cake of a mess up there. This is going to tell me how tight my mesh really is. See how close I got that mesh now. We're good. We are good on the mesh. I can't believe it. This grub screw is a little sloppy. I'm going to put some Loctite, some red Loctite, on one that's not so sloppy, so that I can really tighten it down. Make sure my straps are okay. So that this gear does hang below the bolts, so I can't tape it from the inside. But let's get these drive shafts put back in. Strange that that drive shaft is hitting in the front though. All that 8S power. That's it. So now that the motor's back in, put my side plate back on. I think I have to loosen up the ESC. No. Now the motor mount does hit this side plate a little bit. That's why you see me pushing it on so hard. bite in really hard into these screws. One on the end. And these were in this order. Because it's not censored, I flipped the motor wires so that it goes the right direction. This thing's got to go on here. And get this in here. Yep. Go. And then this wheel should be loose. Trying to be a little quiet because it's late. All the kids are asleep. Yeah, that diff feels a lot better. But I am noticing the strap is hitting the gear. Why is that? When the strap's tight, it doesn't hit. So, there we go. Mojave is all back up and running. Worst thing is having a RC that you can't use. I just kind of tie that in there. That goes to the battery. And then I noticed with the Mojave, whenever you store your Mojave, because the body mounts are so flexible, put a couple clips in it. Make sure that the body is seated on all the way, so that these pins line up nice and easy. If you just throw it on the shelf without the body on it, I do notice these pins get out of the way and it's very hard to line up. But if you keep your body clips in it when you store it up on the shelf, it's definitely a lot easier to put your body pins back in it. There we go. Mojave's ready for a rip again, even with the yellow tire on it. I will have to get another set of gray ones picked back up for this custom body. This is Arrma's optional body for the Mojave. And I need to change all these out to 8S because it's an 8S system. But there we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. That's how I put a 8S system into my Mojave, and I've been ripping it this way for a little while now. I haven't broke any diffs. I have stripped a couple spur gears. What I do recommend is taking yourself some Gorilla Tape and covering up this hole so that you don't get sand in there. And Gorilla Tape bites pretty hard, so it takes a little while for it to come off bashing. And that's it. You won't get sand in there. And the same thing with your limitless and infraction. Do the same thing. But that way you don't get sand, dirt, and debris in there, and it doesn't ruin your pinions and your spurs. Alright guys, like, comment, subscribe. We will see you on my next video. Thanks for watching.